The stars had always been silent. For thousands of years, humans looked up at the night sky and wondered if they were alone. They sent radio signals into the darkness. They built telescopes and searched for signs of life. They dreamed of meeting beings from other worlds. On the morning of March 15th, 2147, those dreams became real. But they did not come true in the way anyone expected. Captain David Hayes stood in the command center of Earth's orbital defense station. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had served in the military for 30 years. He had seen wars and disasters. He thought nothing could surprise him anymore. He was wrong. The main screen showed 3,000 ships appearing from nowhere. They came out of something that looked like a tear in space itself. The ships were massive. Some were bigger than cities. They moved in perfect formation, surrounding Earth like a net catching a fish. "Sir," said a young officer, his voice shaking, "we are receiving a transmission." Hayes nodded. "Put it through." The screen changed. A face appeared. It was not human. The creature had blue skin and 4 eyes. Its head was long and narrow. When it spoke, the words were translated by a computer into English. "People of Earth, I am High Speaker Venn of the Galactic Council. We are a coalition of 12 spacefaring species. We have watched your world for many years. Under galactic law, your planet has been claimed. You will surrender control of your government within 72 hours. If you do not, we will take control by force. This is not a request. This is a statement of fact. Resistance will only bring suffering to your kind." The transmission ended. Hayes stared at the screen. His heart was beating fast, but his face showed nothing. He turned to his crew. They looked terrified. Some were crying. Others were frozen in shock. "Contact Earth Command," Hayes said calmly. "Tell them we need an emergency meeting. Now." 2 hours later, the leaders of Earth gathered in a secure room deep underground. General Marcus Cole sat at the head of the table. He was an old soldier with scars on his face and fire in his eyes. Next to him sat Dr. Emily Ward, a scientist who studied alien life. She had spent her whole career hoping to meet beings from other planets. Now that they were here, she felt only fear. Ambassador Grace Turner entered the room last. She was young for a diplomat, only 40 years old. But she was smart and brave. The United Earth Council had chosen her to speak for all of humanity. "We have 72 hours, General Cole said. "What do we do?" Some leaders wanted to surrender. They said fighting was pointless. The alien ships were too many and too powerful. Better to live as servants than die as heroes. Others wanted to fight immediately. They said humans should never bow to anyone. Even if they lost, they would go down with dignity. Dr. Ward raised her hand. "Before we decide, we need to understand what we are dealing with. I have been studying the transmission. The Council has been watching us for a long time. They know about our technology. They know about our weapons. They timed their arrival perfectly. They came now because we just started building colonies on Mars. In another 50 years, we might have been too strong to conquer easily. They want to stop us before we become a real threat. So they think we are weak," General Cole said. "Yes," Dr. Ward replied. "They think we are primitive. They expect us to surrender like every other species has done before." Captain Hayes spoke through a video link from his station in orbit. "I have been watching their fleet. Something is strange. Their formation is defensive, not offensive. They are being careful. If they really thought we were so weak, why would they be cautious?" Grace Turner leaned forward. "They are afraid," she said softly. "They came with 3,000 ships to conquer one planet. That is not confidence. That is fear." The room went quiet. "They have seen something in us," Grace continued. "Something that worries them. They watched our history. They saw our wars. They saw how we fight. They know that humans do not give up easily. That is why they brought so many ships. They are not sure they can beat us. General Cole smiled for the first time. Then we have an advantage. They do not know what we can really do. What are you suggesting? Asked one of the leaders. Cole stood up. We do not surrender. We do not attack. We do something they will never expect. We stay silent. Silent? Dr. Ward asked. Yes, we give them nothing. No answer, no response. Let them wonder. Let them wait. Let them get nervous. In the meantime, we prepare. We gather information. We find their weaknesses. And when the time is right, we show them exactly what humans are capable of. Grace Turner nodded slowly. I agree. We need time. And we need to learn everything about them. Their ships, their technology, their politics. Knowledge is our weapon now. The leaders voted. It was close, but the decision was made. Earth would stay silent. Over the next 48 hours, strange things began to happen. People around the world stopped panicking. Instead of running or crying, they started working. Scientists shared information across borders. Engineers worked together on projects that had been secret for decades. Soldiers from countries that had been enemies stood side by side. For the first time in human history, Earth was truly united. The alien threat had done what nothing else could do. It brought humanity together. In orbit, Captain Hayes watched the alien fleet. They sent more messages. They demanded answers. They threatened destruction. But Earth remained quiet. Hayes could see the alien ships moving nervously. They had never experienced this before. Every other species had surrendered quickly or attacked foolishly. Humans did neither. The silence was driving them crazy. On the last day before the deadline, High Speaker Venn sent one final message. His voice was angry now. Your silence will not save you. Tomorrow, we will come down and take what is ours. Your world belongs to the Council now. Deep underground, Grace Turner watched the message. She smiled. Let them come, she whispered. They have no idea what they are walking into. The clock continued to tick. 72 hours were almost over, and Earth was ready to give its answer. The 72 hours ended at midnight. High Speaker Venn stood on the bridge of his flagship, the largest ship in the entire Galactic Council fleet. He had conquered 17 planets in his long life. He had forced dozens of species to kneel before the Council. This small blue world would be no different. But something was wrong. The humans had not surrendered. They had not attacked. They had done nothing at all. Venn's 4 eyes narrowed with confusion. In all his centuries of life, he had never seen anything like this. Every species reacted to the Council's arrival. Some begged for mercy. Some fought bravely and died quickly. Some tried to run and were caught. But none had ever simply ignored the Council. Perhaps their governments have collapsed, said one of his advisors. They may be in chaos, unable to respond. Or perhaps they are planning something, said another voice. Venn turned to look at the speaker. It was Nara, a younger member of the Council. She was smaller than the others, with silver skin and intelligent eyes. She was known for asking difficult questions. What could they possibly plan? Venn asked with contempt. They are primitives. They have only just learned to leave their own planet. Their weapons are toys compared to ours. And yet, Nara said quietly, we brought 3,000 ships to conquer them. If they are so weak, why did we need so many? Venn did not answer. He did not like the question. Send a delegation down, he ordered. We will accept their surrender in person. If they have no leaders left, we will appoint our own. A small shuttle left the flagship and descended through Earth's atmosphere. Inside were 5 council representatives. They were the best diplomats in the galaxy. They had convinced entire civilizations to surrender without a single shot being fired. The shuttle landed in Geneva, a city known for international meetings. The representatives expected to find chaos. They expected frightened people running in the streets. They expected broken governments and desperate leaders. Instead, they found silence. The streets were empty but clean. Buildings stood undamaged. Everything was calm and organized. A single figure waited for them in front of a large building. It was a human woman with brown hair and a peaceful smile. "Welcome to Earth," Grace Turner said. "I am Ambassador Turner. I speak for all of humanity." The lead representative stepped forward. His name was Tor, and he had negotiated the surrender of 6 different worlds. "Ambassador, the deadline has passed. Your people must now submit to the council. Where are your leaders? Where is your military?" Grace kept smiling. "They are where they need to be. You must surrender immediately," Tor insisted. "If you do not, our fleet will begin attacking your cities. Millions will die. Is that what you want?" Grace took a deep breath. She had practiced this moment 1,000 times in her mind. She knew exactly what she was going to say. She knew that her words would change everything. "The United Earth Council has considered your offer," she said calmly. "After careful thought, we have decided to decline." Tor stared at her. His translator must be broken. No species had ever said those words before. "Decline? You cannot decline. This is not an offer. This is an order." "We understand," Grace replied. "And we still decline. Earth will not surrender. Earth will not submit. Earth belongs to humans, and it will stay that way." The 5 representatives looked at each other in confusion. This was not in any of their training. This was not supposed to happen. "You are making a terrible mistake," Tor said. "You cannot win against us. Your technology is inferior. Your numbers are small. You have no allies. You stand alone against the greatest power in the galaxy." Grace nodded. "Yes, we know all of that. And we still decline. Then you choose death for your people." "No," Grace said, and her smile grew wider. "We choose something else entirely." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. She pressed a button. Far above, something changed in the council fleet. Screens flickered. Systems glitched. For just a moment, every ship lost control of its sensors. "What was that?" Tor demanded. "A demonstration," Grace said. "While you were waiting for our surrender, we were not sitting quietly. We have a woman named Dr. Rachel Moore. She is very good with computers. For the past 3 days, she and her team have been inside your communication network." Tor's face went pale. "Impossible. Not impossible. Just difficult. We know the position of every ship in your fleet. We know your fuel levels. We know your weapon systems. We know which ships have captains who are loyal to High Speaker Ven, and which captains secretly hate him. We know about the political fights inside your council. We know everything." Grace stepped closer to Tor. Her voice was soft but strong. "You came here thinking we were primitives. You thought we would be easy to conquer. You made a mistake. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We have been deceiving our enemies since before we could write. We have been preparing for this moment longer than you can imagine. You are bluffing," Tor said, but his voice was uncertain. "Go back to your ships," Grace replied. "Tell High Speaker Ven what I told you. Tell him that Earth declines his generous offer. Tell him that if he wants this planet, he will have to pay a price so high that victory will feel like defeat. And tell him one more thing." "What?" Grace Turner looked up at the sky, where thousands of alien ships waited. "Tell him that we are not afraid." The delegation returned to the flagship. Tor reported everything to High Speaker Ven. The old leader listened with growing anger. She is lying, Ven declared. They cannot have accessed our systems. Our technology is far beyond theirs. But Nara was already checking. Her silver fingers moved across her console. What she found made her blood run cold. High Speaker, she said quietly. The human woman was telling the truth. There are foreign programs in our network. They have been watching us for 3 days. They know everything. Ven slammed his fist on his chair. Then, we destroy them now. Full attack. Wait, Nara said. If they could enter our system so easily, what else can they do? What are they hiding? They are hiding nothing. They are weak. High Speaker, please. We need to be careful. Ven ignored her. He was too angry to think clearly. Destroy one of their satellites. Show them what happens to those who defy the Council. Show them our power. A single beam of energy shot from one of the Council ships. A human communications satellite exploded in a flash of light. On Earth, billions of people watched. They saw their satellite destroyed. They saw the power of the alien fleet, but they did not panic. They did not cry. They looked at each other and nodded. It was time for Earth to respond. In a secret base hidden deep in the asteroid belt, Commander Sarah Blake received a coded message. She had been waiting for 3 years for this moment. Her ships were small and invisible to sensors. No one in the galaxy knew they existed. She smiled and gave the order. All ships, prepare to decloak. It is time to show them what humans can do. The next phase was about to begin, and the Council would never be the same again. High Speaker Ven watched the human satellite explode with satisfaction. This would teach them. This would show them the price of defiance. Soon, they would come crawling to him, begging for mercy. He waited for the panic to begin. He expected to see humans running in terror. He expected emergency broadcasts and crying leaders. Instead, something impossible happened. 20 ships appeared directly behind his flagship. They came out of nowhere, like ghosts becoming solid. They were small, black, and shaped like arrows. On their sides was painted a symbol, a blue circle with green and brown patches. Earth. How? Ven whispered. His voice was barely audible. Commander Sarah Blake sat in the lead ship. She was a woman with short red hair and eyes as cold as space itself. She had been hiding in the asteroid belt for 3 years, waiting for this exact moment. Her ships were equipped with technology that the Council had never seen. Cloaking devices that made them invisible. Engines that made no heat signature. Weapons that had never been tested in real combat. Until now. This is Commander Blake of the Earth Defense Force. She broadcast on all channels. You destroyed our satellite. That was a mistake. Now watch carefully. She gave a signal. One of her ships fired a single shot. The beam was purple and seemed to twist as it flew through space. It hit one of the Council's medium-sized cruisers. The cruiser did not explode. It simply stopped existing. One moment it was there, massive and powerful. The next moment, there was nothing. Not even dust. The ship and everyone inside had been broken down into atoms and scattered across the void. 3,000 Council soldiers died in less than a second. Ven stared at the empty space where the cruiser had been. His 4 eyes were wide with something he had not felt in centuries. Fear. What weapon was that? He demanded. Unknown, said one of his officers. Our sensors cannot identify it. The technology is. It should not exist. The humans should not have this capability for at least another 300 years. On the bridge of his flagship, Ven tried to understand what was happening. His entire worldview was breaking apart. The humans were supposed to be primitive. They were supposed to be easy. How could they have weapons that even the Council did not possess? General Marcus Cole's voice came through the communication system. He was broadcasting from Earth's underground command center. "Hi, Speaker Ven," he said calmly. "What you just witnessed was a warning. One ship, one shot. 3,000 of your soldiers dead. We have 20 ships like that one. And we have more weapons you have not seen yet. The next shot will not be a warning. Do you understand?" Ven's hands were shaking, but he forced his voice to stay steady. "You cannot defeat us. We have 3,000 ships. You have 20. Numbers do not always win wars," Cole replied. "Humans have learned this lesson many times throughout our history. Small armies have defeated large ones. Weak nations have destroyed empires. We are very good at fighting when the odds are against us. In fact, we prefer it that way." Nara had been working at her console throughout this exchange. What she found terrified her more than the disappearing cruiser. "Hi, Speaker," she said urgently. "I have been reviewing Earth's historical records. The humans have been preparing for alien contact since the 20th century. What do you mean?" "They created stories about invasions from space. Thousands of books, movies, and games about fighting aliens. We thought these were just entertainment. They were not. They were training. They have been imagining this scenario and planning for it for over 200 years. Ven felt a chill run down his spine. "That is impossible. They did not know we existed." "They did not need to know," Nara said. "They assumed someone would come eventually, and they decided to be ready. Every war they fought, every weapon they built, every strategy they developed, all of it was practice. We are not facing primitives, High Speaker. We are facing a species that has been preparing for us longer than some civilizations have existed." Commander Blake spoke again from her ship. "We know you are scanning us right now. We know you are trying to understand our weapons. You will not succeed. These ships were built in facilities on the dark side of our moon. We have been hiding them from your observers for decades. You thought you knew everything about us. You knew nothing." A message arrived from Earth. It was from Ambassador Grace Turner. "High Speaker Ven, I hope you are beginning to understand your situation. You have a choice to make. You can continue this attack and lose thousands more ships. Or you can negotiate with us as equals. We do not want war. We never wanted war. But we will not surrender. Not to you. Not to anyone. Ever." Ven turned to his advisors. "What do we do?" No one answered. They were all too shocked to think clearly. Nara stepped forward. "May I speak freely, High Speaker?" Ven nodded. "We made a mistake," she said. "We underestimated them. Every species we have conquered in the past gave up when they saw our power. They calculated the odds and decided surrender was the logical choice. But humans do not think that way. They do not accept defeat even when defeat is certain. They will fight until the last one of them is dead. And they will take as many of us with them as possible. Then we destroy them all," one of the admirals suggested. "We have enough firepower to turn their planet into dust." "Can we?" Nara asked quietly. "Those 20 ships appeared behind our flagship without any warning. If they can do that, what else can they do? How many more ships do they have hidden? How many more weapons? If we attack with everything we have, and we fail, the Council will be finished. Other species will see our weakness. Rebellions will begin across the galaxy." Ven sat in silence for a long time. He had lived for over 1,000 years. He had never faced a decision like this down on Earth. Thomas Reed sat in his laboratory. He was the engineer who had created the weapon that destroyed the Council cruiser. He was a thin man with glasses and messy hair. He looked more like a librarian than a weapon designer. His assistant ran into the room. "Sir, it worked. The Council stopped their attack." Reed nodded slowly. He did not smile. Good. Let us hope they stay scared. Because that was our only prototype. We cannot fire that weapon again for at least 6 months. The assistant's face went pale. What if they attack? Then we are in trouble, Reed admitted. But they do not know that. And as long as they are afraid, they will not attack. Fear is our best weapon right now. In orbit, Captain Hayes received word from Commander Blake. He smiled for the first time in days. Phase 2 is complete, he reported to General Cole. They are hesitating. Good, Cole replied. Now we begin Phase 3. It is time to show them that we are not just defending ourselves. We can hurt them too. We can reach into their homes and break everything they built. Prepare the cyber attack. Dr. Moore, are you ready? Rachel Moore cracked her knuckles. I've been waiting for this moment my entire career, General. Let us give them something they will never forget. The Council thought they were the hunters. They were about to learn that they had walked into a trap. High Speaker Van made his decision. He would not retreat. He would not negotiate. He would crush these humans and show the galaxy that the Council was still supreme. All ships, battle formation, he commanded. We attack at dawn. Earth time. 3,000 ships began to move. They spread out like a wave of metal and fire, surrounding Earth from every direction. There would be no escape. The humans had surprised him once. He would not let it happen again. But deep underground on Earth, a woman named Lisa Park was smiling. Director Park was the head of Earth's intelligence division. She had gray hair and kind eyes that hid a brilliant mind. For 50 years, she had been building the greatest spy network in human history, not to spy on other countries, to spy on aliens. When the first signs of extraterrestrial observation were detected in the 2090s, world leaders panicked. But Lisa Park stayed calm. She saw an opportunity. If aliens were watching Earth, then Earth could watch them back. She created programs that hid inside human technology. When aliens abducted humans for study, they took the programs with them. When aliens observed human spacecraft, the programs snuck into their systems. Slowly, carefully, over 50 years, she planted seeds throughout the galaxy. Now it was time to harvest. General Cole, she reported through a secure channel. The Council fleet is preparing to attack. Are we ready? Ready, Cole confirmed. Admiral Chun, report. A new voice joined the conversation. Admiral Robert Chun was a legend. He had commanded the first human ship to reach Jupiter. He had led the expedition that discovered alien ruins on Mars. Now he commanded Earth's hidden fleet. We are in position, Chun said. 200 ships. All systems green. 200? Nara would have laughed if she knew. The Council had been searching for Earth's hidden military and found nothing. They thought the 20 ships they saw were everything humans had. They were wrong by a factor of 10. The hidden fleet had been built in complete secrecy. Half were constructed in underground facilities on the moon, where no alien observer could see them. The other half were assembled in the outer asteroid belt, disguised as mining operations. They were not as powerful as Council ships individually, but they had something the Council did not have: surprise. Director Park, Cole said. Begin the operation. Lisa Park pressed a single button. Across 12 Council homeworlds, chaos erupted. Power grids failed. Hospitals lost electricity. Defense systems went offline. Communication networks collapsed. Emergency services could not respond. Traffic control systems stopped working. Ships in orbit lost contact with the ground. The programs that Lisa Park had planted 50 years ago activated all at once. They were simple pieces of code, designed to break things at exactly the right moment. They had been sleeping inside Council systems for decades, waiting for this signal. On the Council flagship, alarms started screaming. "High Speaker," an officer shouted. "We are receiving emergency messages from all 12 homeworlds. They are under attack. Attack? From whom? Unknown. Their systems are failing. They need help. Ven's face went white. This was impossible. No one could attack the homeworlds. They were thousands of light years from Earth. How could humans possibly reach them? It is a trick, he said desperately. A fake signal to confuse us. No, high speaker, Nara said. Her voice was shaking. I have confirmed it. The messages are real. Our homeworlds are in crisis. Millions of people are without power. If we do not help them, they will die. General Cole's voice came through the communication system again. High speaker Ven, do you understand now? We did not just prepare to defend Earth. We prepared to hurt you. We have spent 50 years planting sabotage programs throughout your entire civilization. Right now, 12 worlds are in chaos because of us. And we can do worse. Much worse. Ven stared at the screen showing his fleet. 3,000 ships, the greatest military force in the galaxy. And suddenly, they felt very small. You cannot have done this, he whispered. How? We are patient, Cole replied. We think ahead. We plan for the worst. Every human child is taught to prepare for danger. It is in our nature. You thought you were hunting us. You were wrong. We were hunting you. We just waited for you to come to us. Admiral Chun's fleet decloaked. 200 ships appeared in a ring around the Council formation. They were not as big as Council ships, but there were many of them. And behind them, coming through the gap between Earth and Moon, were more ships. Civilian transports armed with improvised weapons. Mining vessels with drilling lasers. Research stations with repurposed equipment. Humanity had turned everything into a weapon. You have a choice, Cole continued. You can keep attacking Earth and let your homeworlds burn. Or you can split your fleet, send half to help your people, and face us with weakened forces. Either way, you lose. Nara approached High Speaker Ven. She had studied humans her entire career. She had read their history, their literature, their philosophy. She understood something that Ven did not. High Speaker, she said softly. I have been analyzing their strategy. Humans do not fight to win. They fight to make winning impossible for their enemies. They call it mutually assured destruction. They would rather destroy everything than lose. They are not bluffing. They will burn with us if they have to. That is insanity, Ven said. Yes, Nara agreed. And that is why we cannot beat them. Sanity can be predicted. Sanity can be defeated. But madness? How do you defeat someone who is willing to lose everything just to hurt you? The Council fleet hesitated. Admirals looked to Ven for orders. Soldiers waited anxiously at their stations. The moment stretched into eternity. On Earth, billions of people watched the sky. They could not see the battle directly, but they knew something important was happening. Families held each other. Friends prayed together. Strangers became allies. Ambassador Grace Turner stood at a window, looking up at the stars. She had done everything she could. The rest was up to the universe. Come on, she whispered. Back down, please. On the flagship, Ven closed his eyes. He thought about his long life, all the victories, all the planets conquered, all the species brought into the Council. He had never failed before, but he had also never faced an enemy like this. Split the fleet, he ordered quietly. Half will return to defend the homeworlds. The rest will hold position here. High Speaker? An admiral asked in shock. Do it, Ven snapped. We cannot let our people die because of pride. 1,500 ships broke formation and jumped into faster-than-light travel, disappearing into the void. The Council's overwhelming advantage was cut in half. General Cole watched them go. He allowed himself a small smile. Phase 4 complete, he said. They are divided. Now we finish this. How? Captain Hayes asked. They still have 1,500 ships. We have barely 300. We do not need to defeat them, Cole replied. We just need to convince them that fighting us is too expensive. Director Park prepared the final card. Lisa Park nodded. It is ready, General. The question is, are we willing to use it? Cole was silent for a long moment. The final card was dangerous. It could end the war instantly. Or it could make everything worse. Double quotes. Yes, he said finally. Show them everything. Let them see what humanity is truly capable of. The last phase was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same again. The final card was not a weapon. It was information. Director Lisa Park transmitted a single data package to the Council flagship. Inside was everything humanity knew about the Galactic Council. And they knew a lot. High Speaker Venn opened the file. What he saw made his blood run cold. There were detailed reports on every council species. Their strengths, their weaknesses, their fears, their secrets. There were maps of every homeworld, showing where their defenses were strong and where they were weak. There were profiles of every major leader, including personal scandals that could destroy careers. But worst of all, there were plans, hundreds of plans, developed over decades. Plans for how to attack each species individually. Plans for how to turn them against each other. Plans for how to collapse their economy, disrupt their food supply, poison their water. Plans for biological weapons, designed specifically for each alien body type. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing for war against every possible enemy, and they had kept everything secret until now. This is a message, General Cole explained over the communication channel. We are showing you what we could do if we wanted to. We have never used these plans. We do not want to use them. But if you force us, we will. Every world in your council will burn. Every species will suffer. It will take generations to recover. And humans will survive. We always survive. We are very good at living through disasters. Nara read through the files with growing horror. The humans had anticipated everything. They had plans for scenarios that no one in the council had ever imagined. They had thought about attacks that would be considered unspeakable crimes. They are monsters, one of the admirals whispered. No, Nara said softly. They are survivors. Their planet has experienced 5 mass extinctions. Their species has survived ice ages, plagues, and wars that killed millions. They learned long ago that the universe is dangerous. They learned that the only way to survive is to be ready for anything. We thought we were predators. They have been preparing for predators since before they could walk upright. High Speaker Venn stared at the data in silence. His mind was racing. He had 2 choices now. He could continue the war. Maybe the council would win eventually, but the cost would be unimaginable. Trillions of lives lost. Entire planets devastated. The council's reputation destroyed. Other species would see them struggling against primitives and start to rebel. The empire he had spent centuries building would collapse, or he could negotiate. The word tasted like poison in his mouth. The council had never negotiated from weakness. They gave orders. They did not ask permission, but these humans had left him no choice. Ambassador Turner, he said slowly, I request a meeting to discuss terms. Grace Turner smiled when she received the message. She had won, not with weapons, not with threats, but with patience, preparation, and the willingness to show an enemy that victory would cost more than defeat. The negotiations took place on Earth. High Speaker Venn landed in Geneva with a small delegation. He was surrounded by human security guards. For the first time in his 1,000-year life, he felt vulnerable. The meeting room was simple. A wooden table, some chairs, a window showing the blue sky outside. Nothing impressive. Nothing designed to intimidate. That was somehow more frightening than any display of power. Grace Turner sat across from him. General Cole stood behind her. Dr. Emily Ward was there to observe. Captain Hayes watched through a video link from orbit. "Thank you for coming," Grace said politely. "I had little choice," Ben replied bitterly. "You always have a choice. You chose wisely." They talked for hours. Ven tried to negotiate from strength, but he had none left. Every demand was rejected. Every threat was ignored. The humans knew they had won. Finally, Grace laid out Earth's terms. Humanity will join the Galactic Council, not as a subject species, as an equal member. We will have full voting rights, full territorial sovereignty. Our solar system belongs to us. Any council ship that enters without permission will be destroyed. "Impossible," Ven said. "No species has ever joined the council as an equal. Then we will be the first. Or we can continue this war. Your choice." Ven looked at his advisors. They had nothing to offer. He looked at Nara. She nodded slowly. "The old way is ending," she said quietly. "We can fight the change and be destroyed. Or we can accept it and survive. Humans are not our enemies. High Speaker? They could have attacked our homeworlds with weapons instead of power outages. They could have killed millions. They chose not to. They want peace. Real peace. Perhaps we should give them a chance." The Treaty of Geneva was signed on a warm spring afternoon. Earth became the 13th member of the Galactic Council. The first species to join as an equal. The first species to say no and make it stick. News spread across the galaxy. Other subject species watched with growing hope. If humans could stand up to the council, maybe they could too. Changes were coming. Big changes. As the ceremony ended, Nara approached Ambassador Turner privately. "May I ask you something?" she said. "Of course. How long have you truly been preparing for this? Not just since you detected our observers. I mean, how long have humans been ready for something like us?" Grace thought for a moment. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a small book. It was very old, with yellowed pages and a cracked cover. "This is a copy of a story written in 1898. It is called The War of the Worlds. It is about aliens invading Earth." Nara took the book carefully. "Over 250 years ago?" "Yes, and there are older stories than that. Humans have been imagining this moment for as long as we have been telling stories. We have always known, somewhere deep inside, that we are not alone. And we have always been preparing for the day when we would have to prove ourselves." High Speaker Ven approached them. His anger had faded into something like respect. "I have one final question," he said. "How did you know we would come? Not us specifically, but someone. How did you know the universe would test you?" Grace Turner looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, the stars were waiting. More challenges. More dangers. More opportunities. "We did not know for certain," she admitted. "We just believed. We believed that the universe is vast and full of wonders. We believed that somewhere out there other beings existed. And we believed that when they found us, we should be ready. Not to fight. Not to surrender. But to stand as equals. To show them that humanity deserves respect." She looked at Ven with clear, steady eyes. "You came to conquer us. But you did something better. You proved that we were right to prepare. You proved that humanity belongs among the stars. And for that, High Speaker, we actually owe you thanks." Ven did not know what to say. In all his centuries, he had never met a species like this. So strange. So stubborn. So impossibly hopeful. "What will you do now?" he asked. Grace smiled. "What we have always done. We will learn. We will grow. We will reach for the stars. We will make mistakes and fix them. We will fight when we must and make peace when we can. We will be human." She reached out her hand, a human gesture of friendship, then hesitated. Then, slowly, he took it. "Welcome to the galaxy," he said quietly. "Thank you," Grace replied. We have been waiting a long time to hear those words. Above them, Earth continued to spin. Billions of humans looked up at a sky that now seemed full of possibility. They had faced the greatest challenge in their history and survived. Not just survived, thrived. The universe had tested them, and humanity had answered. They were ready for whatever came next.